Are you ready? You think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break the wall!
Guys.
Welcome in.
Hey,
How's everybody?
it's good.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, you didn't do the intro.
Well, I don't even know if this is on.
I can't hear anything, so I don't know. You want me to say it?
Yeah, you can now. You'll be good now. Yeah.
And I'm sharing on Facebook. I apologize.
Share away.
Share away. Share on Facebook. There we go. All right. Welcome
go.
to Let Me Tell You Something, Brother. Here at 216 Creator Studios at the Tom's Production Studio Office. I guess you want to call it
The TP office.
the TP.
That's it. TP.
TP. Oh, I don't see anything right now on our screen. There we go.
There we
There we
are.
go. Now we're
Now
back.
you're there.
We're
We're
back and rolling now.
We're good there. All right.
Lock, cocked, and ready to rock.
That's what you.
Hey,
Never mind.
Uh-oh.
just don't let the cats out.
Let me tell you something, brother. Big stuff here tonight. Let's go a little bit about November 2nd. We'll talk some Raw. We'll talk some championship belts.
Brett the Hitman Hart.
We'll get. Hey, man.
Broke the record.
2 minutes, 10 seconds. 2 minutes,
I do
10
have on
seconds.
the list, but
Survivor War Games, Vancouver coming up the end of the month. And of course, some heels. Tom finally got through
I
that.
watched heels. All right.
He's wearing them.
High heels. Some over 6 feet tall now.
Yeah.
But
You got them red bottoms on?
The red bottoms.
Ooh.
Lady in red. Whoops, that's
Boots
wrong.
with the fur.
That's wrong.
Sorry.
There we go.
It's a
All
little-
right.
He cut all the fur off. It's all gone.
Hey, now.
Good stuff.
All right. So
All right.
let's kick it off with the Crown Jewel premium live event that was last
That was
Saturday.
kicking a family jewels.
I don't know. To me, it's like we talked about before when you were in the office earlier this week. It just feels like these pay-per-views that they do in Saudi Arabia are just forced.
I mean, like I said when I came in, it doesn't even feel like the ones in Saudi are forced. It feels like the non-SummerSlam Survivor Series, the
The
main
big four.
main 4 or 5, whatever you want to say. I feel like they're rushed or they're just forced down your throat. There's no storyline that comes out of it.
Like they
And-
just made this big giant belt that neither wrestler can get, the men or women. They get
Yeah.
a ring now. But I mean, for me, like it was just lots of botches.
Yeah.
You had Jimmy that missed the first breakup for the pinfall count.
Mm-hmm.
And then they continued the match. And that match at the end of the show was what, Jimmy, Roman versus Solo and
Yeah.
Jacob. And in that match, it was just kind of like, yeah. And it made Roman look very weak.
It did. It made the old bloodline look very weak, which again, I think is part of the story. I think they want to make them look beaten and, there's a broken family there.
Yeah, story of my life.
Hey,
Hey. We got to get that sound thing.
we do. Gotta get a sound machine going. No, but all around it looked very poor. I mean, and then you have, which I thought was very interesting with the whole, the Saudi kind of culture, when you had the women's match, they came out, they didn't come out at the end of it to present her. It was just Triple H.
Right.
But then when it was Cody, like you had the Saudis came out, men and women came out to present him with the belt. And then they had Liv Morgan come out and do their whole little thing.
Right.
But of course it was to not patronize, but it was to give praise to the Saudis, and they're going to keep the belts there.
Appease them.
Yeah, it's going to keep them in the vault, as they call it. I mean, videos that I've seen of that WWE experience, like if they would do something like that in America, it would be awesome.
Right.
Well, I think WWE is getting to a point where they can have a main location,
Mhm.
and I think Vegas will probably be the perfect spot for that.
Well,
Where WrestleMania is going to be next year, but to have like, okay, now we have a set Hall of Fame
yeah.
place where you can go look at.
I mean, I think it's going to be in Connecticut. I mean, that's just where
I don't know.
I think it's going to be. I think they're going to have to do something on the East Coast. But I will say this. It's very interesting you say that because Universal actually just announced their new park,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like twice the size, but they've left it open for expansion. So I'm very curious to see with like the whole TKO branding now. Do they go, because they are going into Netflix, and they're going to get those kind of those deals. Do you see something where they do try to put a brick and mortar
I think
stateside?
they're going to team up with Disney.
Yeah, and that's what I'm getting at. Like it's.
I think eventually we'll see the WWE universe with Disney.
So
you're going to have all these cross promotions with Star Wars.
So I could definitely see
Marvel.
them doing that. I could see them doing that, like kind of testing. Because how long is the deal for Netflix?
Was it 10 years?
It was a long time, 10 or 12.
So you won't see that until at least 10 years down the road,
Right.
unless Disney buys Netflix.
Or vice versa.
No, it does not have that much power, dude. That mouse is raking in cash.
But then it's like with them too. It's like, what is WWE great at? Merchandise, toys, all that stuff. Where a lot of these companies are hurting that. I mean, that's where they make most of their money. History has been that.
10 years, $5 billion.
$5 billion.
With a B.
With a B.
With a big old B.
B.
Got Dr. Evil saying that.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Yes, I definitely think it's interesting. Kind of now, people are looking at, kind of vacation areas, and that's the one thing that I think the WWE is missing here stateside. They have it now in the Middle East, and they showed it off during Crown Jewel, and it looks really cool. I would not go to wherever it's at.
I mean, the other place I would say would be Orlando.
Mhm.
I mean, that's where most of the wrestlers are from Florida anyway, or live there.
The only reason why I wouldn't see them doing it down that way, I wouldn't see them doing it down south because of hurricanes. Because they would not want to repair it constantly. Because this whole show, Hidden Treasures, whatever, the one on A&E, they've admitted in the first season, they don't have half the merchandise or half the history that they thought they've had. They've lost it to random things.
Right.
So to have it in a hurricane-ridden state is not going to happen. You're not going to want Ric Flair's robe to
Down
walk
Georgia.
Well, I mean, that's where
Georgia
you could
Championship Wrestling, man.
Where you got Disney World and Disneyland. Have
Yeah.
2 locations.
Yeah, but
I mean, I think Vegas would be the prime spot.
yeah. Good old Chicago. Right in the middle, just saying.
Too high of tax dollars.
McHenry.
Here's your
Greenwood Road.
Chicago, Illinois. Here's your Kevlar vest.
Yeah.
The other thing from Crown Jewel too. I mean, they had it was Cody versus Gunther, and it was an okay match. They did the whole WrestleMania 8 finish with there we go, Bret Hart and Roddy Piper.
There it is. Number 2 at 8:45. 8 minutes 45
I knew
seconds.
he was going to say it too. That's why I had to beat him with it.
But I mean, to me, that was like another botch where Cody kind of missed it.
Yeah.
It wasn't clean.
But there was a couple things that Gunther botched as well. I mean, none of the matches I think that were on the card there was no 5-star match of the night.
No. No.
No.
Nia
no,
Jax
no.
was stiff.
She
as
needs
ever.
to go. Like, she's awful.
Again, Tiffany came down to
Tease.
and
And that's where I thought she should have cashed in.
yeah.
Because I don't like Liv or Nia being the first Crown Jewel champion.
Mhm.
And here Tiffany is she's going to be a great superstar.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she's pretty much the next Trish Stratus. She'll probably be more athletic, quicker learning curve that she's had already.
But can she bark?
I don't know. We got maybe in the next promotion Vince starts.
Maybe.
His non-compete actually is in January.
Is that right?
It ends. So
He's already come out and said that he's making a new entertainment hub.
yes.
And I love the choice of words there. When so many people know what hub is.
He's going to try bringing in more people that used to work for him that were let go.
Of course.
So, he's not going away.
No.
He will start another promotion or something,
Yeah.
or find a way to buy.
And he's
WWE
what?
back.
77? He's old.
He's up there.
Yeah.
Not looking so good either.
No, he does not.
But apparently, he had breakfast with Shapiro, one of the TKO CEOs, and now they just had small talk, saying that he's pleased with how the product's going or whatever. But I see him starting another promotion soon. There's no way.
Once his non-compete comes up, I could see him coming out with like a tell-all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know the documentary, or like another part of the documentary where he just kind of unloads on the events.
So, and after Crown Jewel, we had Monday Night Raw. That was still in Saudi.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there they had the women's 4-way for the number one contender, in which Io Sky ended up winning that one. So, rumor is she's going to face Liv at Survivor Series. But I don't know. It's just for me, Raw was flat.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think lately any of the Raw and SmackDowns after a premium live event are pretty flat. There's no build up afterwards. It's here's a recap of what you missed. Here's the winner and loser on both shows, and then it's weak story, if anything.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times too, it's a lot of tag team matches
Mm-hmm.
to give the wrestlers a break from the long weekend.
Well, it seems like they're trying to just keep you hanging on until January.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to put a lot of effort into it. You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to coast in. I feel.
Yeah, we talked about that in the
green
in the
room.
in the green room. But the other thing, not the big match, but like the big story that's coming out of Raw right now is kind of what's happening with the New Day. You know, they're going to do that 10-year anniversary here soon.
All their contracts expire in December.
Their contracts expire. So, you know, there's going to be something kind of unhinged there. But what more do they need to do? I mean,
like we said before, they're coasting to Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
And with the New Day, it's going to be their last hurrah. I don't see them resigning.
but do you see them going to AEW as a tag team, or do you see them going solos?
Oh, I see them going as a group.
Yeah.
I mean, Big E, maybe he'll get cleared over in AEW. I don't know. But it's just like what I said before about Triple H, like borderline racist, like with what he's been doing. Like, where's your black superstars? Besides Jade and Bianca.
That they keep pushing.
And it's like they let go of Bobby, they let go of the Hurt Business and all that stuff.
The Usos are,
Samoan.
yeah, they're brown.
But
They're
the African Americans, it's like they're not getting any pushes. Like Montez Ford was hot 2 years ago. And He got injured, and then they never reestablished him.
Well, I mean, if you go back in history, I mean, Triple H was that East Coast kind of prick,
Right.
you know.
Well,
And he also did blackface.
Yeah.
That's
But I mean, it's just
No, there's definitely a huge lull right now, and it's like that. I think the tag team division, as we talked about in the previous show, is very strong with talent right now.
Right.
And I think it's overpopulated and oversaturated. And the solo stars, it's kind of getting the round robin right now of, all right, you're gonna have Gunther versus this person. Okay, then we're gonna rotate this person in there, and then this person will come back. And
well, it's like again, what black guy are they using right now? R-Truth. Yeah. And what's he doing?
hey, that was a good punch, though, man.
Right.
Just saying.
But
he got Miz with a good.
But what's
one
he doing though? It's just the comedy effect.
But that's what he's always been.
Well, I know, but that's the only one that's getting any showcase. And that's where it's like you go to AEW, they're getting showcased over there.
Yeah.
They're talented, and it's just a shame with what Triple H is doing right now. Or has been doing since he took control.
Well, is he going to be around after January?
We'll find out.
Well, stay tuned.
tuned.
That's right.
So after Raw, we had SmackDown this past Friday. The biggest shock for me there was the pile driver by KO to Randy Orton. That move has been banned in WWE for, 2 decades?
Yeah, a long time.
A
Yeah.
long time. Like, you were not allowed to do that at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was kind of shocked them letting him do that.
Especially Randy.
Yeah, especially Randy's condition. I mean,
Right.
yeah, KO's going to be a safe worker.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And it's like, I'm trying to watch it and make sure it's like, okay, that's fine. Like,
I mean, the way he did it, he did botch it because he did have Randy way too high to where Randy, when he fell back, his shoulders did hit his KO's knees, and he popped up. I mean, but again, that was that protection of if you go any lower,
Right.
his head is below the leg then,
Right.
and that's where you're gonna have the neck injury. But yeah, that I'm really shocked they haven't outlawed the German suplex either yet.
I think it's just a matter. I think it's certain wrestlers, like, you can't do it on the big guys.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with everything Randy's been through, that's Randy, to trust him
Right.
is like, but that's the old school part of wrestling
Mhm.
that Orton brings, is like, we got to do it. We got to get something.
And I think what they should have done too is wait another week for that.
Think so?
They should have sold the Crown Jewel match more. Give Randy like another week to heal up and show up. Like, just have him sell that through the table at the end of that whatever match was.
So when they kind of came out right away, the Saturday morning there was a Instagram post that I saw, a social media post that said Randy is out indefinitely.
Right.
To me, that was so soon to come out and say that it almost makes me wonder, are you going to have him mess with KO? Are you going to have him? Now, if you guys remember back when The Rock and, you had Rikishi run over Stone Cold, and no one knew who it was. And they had those masked people and they had, all these. I would love to see them do that again with Randy. Because again, he was safe. He did, like they really sold he was hurt. Even Cody Rhodes getting into, the ambulance with him, which I didn't understand that one at all. But I could see them doing that where he is, again, that Viper that he's laying in the grass and he's waiting for KO to get that title shot against Cody, and then he's going to come out and screw KO. I mean, that's the only angle that right now makes sense, because you're going to put him back on the shelf. Like, unless he's hurt from something else, but he didn't come out saying that he was hurt from Crown Jewel, like you were saying.
Right.
Like, he came out looking to fight.
He was perfectly fine.
Yeah, and then you have this, so it's like, okay, you're either pitching a storyline or something's going on in his personal life that they had to kind of write him off of TV for a little bit.
Like what they did with Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, exactly. Which they've done in the past with other superstars as well.
Yeah, AJ Styles too, with his contract being up in the air.
But I didn't think Randy Orton's contract was up.
No, Randy's not. KO's is. That's why they're rushing it. Because I don't think there's rumors that KO didn't resign yet.
Yeah.
And this is like his last final push before. So we could see Orton knocking him out.
Yeah.
Probably a Survivor Series.
Almost like a Braun Breaker to Ricochet.
Yeah.
Having one big backyard brawl, find out it's Randy. You have the pop, and then Randy just ends him.
And that's where I could see maybe Cody becomes like the special guest referee for the match. Because right now he's got nothing lined up.
Nope. There's nothing so far for Survivor Series either.
So there's rumor. We'll get into that after.
We got a couple slides.
But yeah, so the other big thing from SmackDown too was the new women's U.S. title. I mean, that looks pretty sharp.
That's a good looking belt.
I like the white leather.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I like it.
Leather?
Yeah. Okay.
Belts aren't going anywhere, by the way.
No.
Yeah, they're here. Yeah, I like the design. It pops.
It's a little different than the men's.
Yeah.
Like, slightly. Besides the white leather, I mean, the eagle is different.
Yeah.
But it makes me want that. It makes me want
the Winged Eagle.
the Winged Eagle championship belt.
Or some variation close to it.
Yes. Something.
It's like they're teasing us.
Yeah. Now, one thing that it was very interesting, I forgot who it was, but there was one of the UFC fighters that just won their belt was on something, and actually What they do now is when you turn the belt sideways and have it over your shoulder to demonstrate, these actual parts here actually spin almost like the Rolls Royce rim to where it's always straight. And I'm just shocked that like the WWE doesn't do something like that.
Right.
Because all the wrestlers carry it over their shoulder.
Right.
So it's
except
like,
for Cody, who
yeah.
feels like a baby.
Yeah. Well,
Like Ric Flair always did.
No further questions, Your Honor.
yeah, no further questions.
He's a crybaby.
So, but I mean, it looks nice. I'm just curious now that Raw is going to have to come up with something.
Are they going to do a women's, or Tiffany Stratton brought up like they should do the Netflix title?
And
so it's always defended on Netflix.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I mean, again, that's like your, following
Your
AEW, your TV championship. Now, the one thing that I wish they would do, and I've said this before, is they need a trios match. They need a trios title.
Yeah.
Call
they
it
have so
something
many
different.
people.
Yeah. So many teams that are, fighting with 3 people, that it would just make competition better.
And
Right before Christmas time.
Right.
Is that what you want?
Nope.
No. Okay. And then like SmackDown, like they started out with the Bloodline, a little feud, and like Sammy Uso came out to demand an apology to Jey Uso from Roman. Didn't get it. He walked out. So then it was like, it felt like almost like a 30-minute sitcom.
Yeah, it was
Special where it's like
brutal.
we're going to resolve all this in this one episode. And at the end of the show, had Solo come out and said that, like, their 5th member is going to be Sammy for War Games because they challenge each other, Bloodline versus Bloodline. And then Sammy turned on Solo, and
now it's 4v4.
that's what we said before. What it's going to be.
Yeah.
Now I do like Jake. I'm really impressed with Jacob's mic skills.
Yeah.
Because
he's going to be the superstar.
Yeah, he's going to come out of Bloodline 2.0 as the only one that's going to be able to carry a damn.
I think the Tonga brothers or whatever, they're going to be gone.
Yeah, they're going to kind of ride out their single contract and that's it. But like Jacob, just like that promo that he cut, like I know it was a vignette and it could have been pre-taped or whatever, but he just like hit every note like that you wanted. And it kind of reminded me of the last Roman and Brock Lesnar kind of promos back and forth. Like there was just a lot of points where those two like hit perfectly. And it's definitely made this feud interesting, but it's the wrong people that you're interested with.
Right.
Like it's not Solo and Roman that are making it interesting. It's not even Roman. It's Bloodline OG with
Jay and Jimmy.
Yeah, with Jacob Fatu. Those are the ones that you're watching.
And that's where, the big nepotism cards in play with The Rock in charge. He's going to have all his cousins and stuff. Like we see with Nia, she's a champ. And his daughter's a GM of NXT. And then who's been the headliners for the last few Premium Live events.
Yeah.
Who's getting the pushes. And that's where it's like, if they're smart, after War Games, they'll end the new Bloodline. They let them like revamp themselves.
Did you notice that Solo's been looking a lot like The Rock with a fanny pack, like back in the day, hair and everything, skin tone, the way he's like standing and everything? Like, kind of want to show that one off a little bit. Like you're being groomed perfectly, buddy.
So yeah, so like that pretty much is doing the whole Survivor Series War Games, which is what, the November 30th.
I feel like they've been in Vancouver a lot.
Which is it? Is it Survivor Series or War Games?
It's Survivor Series War Games.
What?
So right now the rumor matches are going to be KO versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Liv versus Io Sky for the women's championship.
Do you see Liv losing it there?
I don't think so, unless there's a cash in. But I think they're going to save the cash in for Saturday Night Main Event.
Oh, I think Tiffany's cashing in on Nia.
Yeah,
I think
that's all set up. They
Yeah,
planted those seeds.
So I think if she would cash in on Liv, I think it's just going to be a stupid. Now,
unless they move her over to Netflix.
That, or I could see Nia Jax not having a match. Well, who's Nia Jax? Is she on the card yet?
Yeah, so the other one is the World Championship, Gunther versus Damian Priest. Don't care about that one at all.
No.
They're rumored there's going to be a women's War Game match as well with Bayley, Bianca, Jade, Naomi, and Michin on one team
For what though?
versus Nia, Tiffany, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Candice LeRae. Just because you have to have equal opportunity.
I get that, you know,
And
but
I don't like. I think they got to do one or the other.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's
Either
the
do
original,
women's or you do the men's.
Yeah,
you
like
don't do
Survivor Series was always Raw versus SmackDown. Raw versus SmackDown.
or
NXT.
it was 4-on-4,
Yeah.
5-on-5.
Like when they brought in NXT and gave NXT a shot, I felt that like it was better.
Yeah.
But now it's just like, all right, we're gonna do this War Game thing again. It's like, okay, great. Why? Like, what's the draw? Like the bloodline, it settles in the cage. Again, I think they need to do something different than a cage match. But for the women, it's like, why?
Just so they can do it.
I guess.
And that's where I wish they would change it to. We said it last year before, where if you get pinned, you're out.
Yeah.
And it can start anytime. Like War Games doesn't start. Like right now, it's the last guy that enters the cage. Then it starts, which is just stupid to me. It means nothing until the last guy's in.
Right.
Get it where it's like an odd matchup. Or it's 2-on-1 or all of a sudden it's 2-on-nothing and you're waiting for another guy to come in and then it's 3-on-1. But build it up that way and make it an actual like Survivor Series match with the War Games.
Yeah.
To me, that would make it a lot better.
Oh, it would.
Interesting. Yeah.
What else is on the match?
The other one was just the men's War Games.
So I think Damian Priest and Gunther, I think you're going to see a rebrand of Damian Priest. It's kind of been hinted at right now in the dirt sheets.
Trying to get him a mask.
Yeah, they're trying to do like a mask luchador kind of look when he comes out, kind of like an Andrade thing to kind of go with the Puerto Rican heritage. The renderings that I've seen of it
looks like the Kane mask with like
it's like got like spikes on it. It almost looks like
it's like the inflatable balloons that Bailey used to have.
Oh no, the one that I saw was fairly decent. But he's kind of introed something like it before, where it's it's got the inflatable kind of spikes popping out of it. Yeah. I see what you're saying about it. It looks like the Kane mask now that I'm looking at it a little differently. Yeah. It doesn't look bad. But again, it's just to sell merch.
Right. They know Rey Mysterio's days are numbered. And they need another luchador with the mask, and they've been trying for years and just can't duplicate it.
Womp, 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 womp.
No, we'll probably see Dom probably end up taking over the mask.
Speaking of Kane, did you see that Kane sent a lot of cease and desist letters out recently?
Oh, with the candy cane,
and blue cane, and cocaine, and
gay cane.
Yeah, all these Kane and the independent scenes have received a cease and desist letter from the what is he? The mayor?
They're spelling it with a K.
So so like the names are like COKANE. So again, if you spell it together, it's cocaine. And of course, he's a white cane. You have gay
White
cane, which is just the rainbow on black. Blue cane is, of course, blue cane. He's been around for a while. But they just have so many iterations of it. Well, he sent a huge cease and desist letter out.
Really?
Yep. All came out the day after Election Day.
Wow.
So.
Well, interesting.
All right, Kent, are you ready?
Yeah, let's play the game, huh? Let's see if I can get that in there. Everybody should be able to hear it except you guys.
All right.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game, and how you play it, all about control, and if you can take it, all about and if you can play it, it's all about paying.
All right, that is the game. Here we go. Time to play the game. And the game is...
Still doesn't work.
Yeah, here it is.
The budget for this.
And it's funny that you brought this up because I've been thinking about this for the last 2 weeks.
Oh.
And you brought it up a little bit earlier about Disney, about Marvel, about And my question is, as I've been watching things, are all of these movies ruining wrestling? In other words, are we trying in the squared circle, trying too much to be a Marvel character,
Well, like
or
they did it with WrestleMania.
Yep.
Where it was that was pretty
so?
much
So the question
Avengers.
is, if so, how do you change it? And if not, do you dig deeper into it?
Well, I mean, my thing is like if you go
no
back to like,
best of worst stuff.
like in the '80s, you had all the gimmicks. Like I
Yeah.
mean, you had the dentist, you had all that, you had
Yeah.
those geese, huh? Sorry, early '90s, late '80s, early '90s, you had those.
The barber, the
Yeah,
dentist.
and then you kind of went away to that. I mean, all the people like these action figures that are in front of us here, they're all superhuman looking anyway.
Yeah.
But the question that I have is, we've always tried to spearhead those characters into movies to kind of cross promote. Like you had Triple H and Blade, you had Sasha Banks in The Mandalorian on Disney.
Great
You've
show.
had
It
Cody
is the
on
way.
CW, huh?
It is the way.
Yeah. But you've always done this cross. I mean, like the WWE's always tried to make the movies,
Yeah.
and has just been horrible at it. There hasn't been a good movie that they've made under the WWE production line. I mean, I think there
Hulk's
was
movie
Marine
wasn't
7.
No holds barred.
No holds barred.
But yeah, I agree. I think they're really trying to kind of make them.
I think it's going to happen now with Netflix, especially.
Right. That's what I'm afraid of.
We'll talk about it in a couple slides too. It's like with the whole Heels show being on Netflix. I think we're going to see a season 3.
So do you see it as a good thing? Or is it something that
it's
it's gonna
Triple
take away
H's
from it?
lack of imagination? And he's
Yeah.
just going to try to bank on what's hot right now.
See, it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but again, I think that's not just Triple H though. I think that's that TKO where they said like they've watched like social media and like they're trying to make pivots during the show, and they've come out and said that. I think you're gonna see that kind of with Netflix, but again, you're gonna see more of like again when they're in a town and they have the Buffalo Bills players there. It's like
Right.
it's hinting at the NFL, and then you have
No, they've done it with like
Yeah.
Tyrese Halliburton,
Oh,
and Brunson.
Yeah.
They'll still bring them out whenever they're in the other city.
Yeah. I find it too distracting.
Mm.
I think they try to lean too much into those type of storylines, and at least for a guy who's followed wrestling for 40 plus years, I'm like,
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
And,
just don't
and
like
it's like now it's like do you see like the WrestleMania ticket prices?
no.
see any of the premium events.
How many
ticket prices.
kidneys can you give up? Like I mean,
really?
it's. I looked on there. It was like the cheap seats were like $500. I don't know if that was just the pre-sale
Right.
ones, but it's like still like
Yeah, and I understand you a lot goes into that production, especially since it's like an entire week long
Right.
now instead of just one night. But I just everything I'm watching, everything that hey, we used to have Stone Cold and John Cena show up in their blue jean cutoffs and
right.
look like normal people, right? Which then, to your point, Alex, led to roles in movies,
Mhm.
right? I mean, look at Batista. Batista looks like me now, for Christ's
Right.
sakes. The guy has lost,
Lost.
he quit
gaining,
taking his vitamins, I think.
yes. He stopped his Hulkster vitamins.
That's right.
It's definitely stopped. But again, the other thing, my question with that is, how much of it is because they're out there trying to make a name for themselves? Perfect example, Dave Batista. He doesn't own that name. John Cena doesn't own that name. Vince McMahon owns that name.
Right.
So it's like he still has to kick back
Whenever he uses that.
whatever he uses that name, even though it's John Cena's legal
Yeah.
name. So it's one of those things like, I mean, John Cena's in Peacemaker.
Yeah,
He's
his
on
image
DC.
and likeness. Yeah.
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 Steve, Dave Batista, he's
Sounds like The Rock, where whenever The Rock was labeled The Rock in a movie,
Right now, it's
Yeah.
Dwayne Johnson.
now it's Dwayne
Jane
Johnson.
The Rock Johnson, and now he dropped
That-
The Rock,
that-
and now
that's
it's just
just
Dwayne
Dwayne
Johnson.
Well, no, he got The Rock back.
Yeah.
Because that was part of like when he came back for WWE, it was part of the agreement on the board that he gets The Rock name. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, before like whenever he was labeled The Rock in a movie, he had to give the kickback.
Yeah.
And so he got away, and it's like, no, I'm going to change it to Dwayne Johnson, my real name, and Vince didn't like that too much, but there's nothing Vince could really do.
You ready for this?
Uh-oh.
Updated pricing as of today. Level for WrestleMania. 2-day pass. So this is now the price I'm saying is per ticket per day. So 400 level, $834 a ticket. We'll say ground level, but not on the floor.
Yeah.
It's ranging. If you're again on the angle, you're not kind of on the hot camera or on the straight on. You're looking at about $1,300
Per ticket.
per ticket per day.
Man, I bought cars for less than that.
Okay. Floor seats by the ramp where they're going to come out are going for $2,400. Seats where you can actually see everything by the ring are going for almost $4,000 a ticket per day.
Per day.
Per
So
day.
if you want a 2-dayer, it's
So the
$8,000.
2-dayer, yeah, you're looking at. Well, here we go. I'm sorry, babe. Here goes Christmas. Your out the door price right now. Come on.
Tax, title, license.
Tax, title, license is my mortgage. No.
Right.
Your wife says hi, by the way.
Oh, does she?
Hey.
Hey, all right.
Yeah, I don't know why the names aren't popping up on there.
Facebook user.
Yeah,
But on my phone, it's popping up. Who
Yeah,
it is?
I don't know.
but yeah, that's just ridiculous. I mean,
Our viewer is my mom, by the way.
oh, okay.
Well,
But that's also, it's funny, I'm really quick on this. They've even said it. There's been people that I've followed that have shown the last 5 years of going to WrestleMania, and these tickets are almost 3 times the price.
Right.
Why?
I think it's all ego by TKO.
Okay.
And it's just they think that they are the top shit and they can do whatever they want and people are going to pay it. And I really hope this is a slap in the face to them. I hope people do not buy these tickets.
Oh, I mean, there's still tons of tickets left. I mean,
Well, it's like the house show in Chicago end of December is ridiculous too. I'm like,
I'm
those
gonna
used
pass
to
my
be
phone
like
Tom.
$15, $20 tickets.
I mean, there's still a good amount of the purple is what's available. I mean,
Right.
there's still a ton of tickets available in
Right.
that arena. And
'Cause I'm trying to think what I spent on WrestleMania 22 tickets. I don't know if it was like $100 a piece. And that was in the upper deck at Allstate.
but here's the thing though, even the Philadelphia 2-night tickets, the guy that I was following and watching this on, he was saying like the year prior to that he spent like $600 for the 2 nights for 2 tickets. So it was, $250 a night or whatever it was, $200 a day. He said for Philadelphia he spent $1,000, so that was $500 per day per ticket, which again is high. But if you look at the card that you had, if you were a fan, you knew you were going to see The Rock.
Yep.
2 nights.
Yep.
You knew you were going to see Roman Reigns 2 nights. You're going to see all the headliners. You didn't know you were going to see John Cena, The Undertaker, and all that.
Right.
Give that fine. But like, what are you giving us now? Looking at these ticket prices.
Cody Rhodes.
Well, I think they're banking on this as John Cena's last WrestleMania.
Okay.
It's like Royal Rumble tickets were expensive too. Not
Where's it at?
ticket pricing.
Where's it at this year?
What?
The,
Royal Rumble is in
Tom
Indy.
won't buy tickets for the podcast. It's in Indy.
WrestleMania in Indy?
WrestleMania's in Las Vegas.
Oh, in Las
They're
Vegas.
going to have WrestleMania in
Rumble's in
Indy
Indy.
a couple of years.
Yeah, because I thought it was next year's wrestling. Because it was like, I thought it was.
They're getting a SummerSlam.
They're getting all 3.
Getting all 3
And I
in
thought
the
it was-
next few years.
Okay.
Because originally WrestleMania 41 was supposed to be in Minnesota. So I don't know if they're going to change that till next year.
Come on, Bears. Build us Arlington Heights, man. Give us a WrestleMania.
No, yeah, I don't see them coming to Chicago at all. until
I don't see a stadium being built for a team that should be a flag football team either.
Hey.
So yeah, that is the game. So last show when we played the game, Kent asked about the show Heels.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't watch it at that time. Since the last show, I watched both
He
seasons.
binged it.
I binged it.
Nice, good for you.
I know. Aren't you proud?
I am. That's good.
So here, for me, like what it debuted.
Wait, Kent, have you watched all the episodes?
Not. I'm in the second season.
Okay.
Yeah, but I haven't watched them.
How'd I beat you?
He has a life.
Yeah, bro. It's hey, my season started.
He doesn't work where he has a.
I'm
50
literally,
TV in his office.
I'm literally working, producing, or looking at basketball film right now.
Hey.
That's it.
So so the show re-debuted on Netflix in September. September 15th, 2 weeks before the documentary. It was originally on Stars, got canceled by Stars. Netflix picked it up. I think it's going to be like a Cobra Kai kind of thing, where they'll see what audience traction they get from it. Which usually once it goes on Netflix, they usually get a little bit better. Thanks, Megan. Tom has no life. Thank you for pointing that out.
She's spicy.
You let a cat out last night.
Get out of the bag. All right.
Not out of the bag, out of the house.
So, I mean, for me, like watching the heels. Can we get back on track?
Let's go.
It's a professional show here. We're trying to
bring
get
it back in here. Heels.
We need to get sponsors besides me. All right. So yeah, heels. I mean, it's about Duffy Wrestling League in Georgia, Florida, that area. Georgia. All Florida Wrestle. Dystopia is their rival company down there. So it's like between those two promotions. Overall, watching both seasons, for me, it's okay. It's watchable, especially if you're a wrestling fan. It's not horrible. Okay storyline. It kind of like tied in for me. It seemed like the Von Erich family, the Hart family. It's kind of like those family promotions.
Yeah.
A little bit of each storyline with that. It ends with a huge cliffhanger in season 2 when it gets canceled. To me, the move was done correctly.
Oh God.
So like that annoyed me. So it's like me, like when I watch.
Hold on, stop. He's not that far yet.
That's all right. You can.
I already talked. I already talked to him before the show, but it's been out for years, so no spoilers. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's like when I watch a basketball movie and you have actors that can't dribble a ball,
right?
Or
shoot, yeah.
And so for me, it's like, okay, these guys are actually learning the wrestling moves, doing it decent. Stephen Amell did a great sunset flip or whatever you want to call it in that show. I think they named it.
They call it like a star press. Like
shooting star press, which it wasn't shooting star press, but he landed on a guy perfectly fine, and then all of a sudden you can't feel his legs.
Yeah.
I'm like,
now, I mean,
that ruined it for me.
So the show definitely, like from season 1 to season 2, the interesting thing was it was never shot as a season 1, season 2. They actually shot the end of season 1 was just supposed to be the next episode. And that's why like there's no time gap at all between seasons. But the one thing that they tried in the second season really to get Ace like his own like story. And then there was so many like tie-ins back to the dad that was like, and we talked about this, there was like times in the moment like when you were watching, you're like, wait, did he just do that? Who was that? Like, you had to like go back.
Because like when I first watched season 2, I thought that was Ace.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh no, that was his dad. Like,
yeah.
Wait a second. Like,
you know,
a lot of jumps.
Yeah. There was a lot of that. And
so
again,
you have to pay attention. You can't just like
season 3 has been greenlit by Netflix. He did come out and say that in a press conference for it when they announced it. So the one thing that I've seen with Netflix is they always give like, they got so much money right now. They're just like, hey, we'll at least give you one new season. Let's give you creative control. Because that was the one thing that he came out and said many times was Stars definitely had an idea in mind. But what's interesting is season 2, I think really foreshadowed what's going on in the wrestling industry now. Because there is a streaming platform that is trying to pick these two guys up, these two promotions up. I don't know how many episodes are you in, Kent?
I'm like 3 into season 2.
I want to say like episode 5 or 6 is when like this streaming service gets involved.
Did you make it to the state fair?
Yes.
Okay, so right after that is when the streaming service gets involved, and it's just very interesting that it's like it foreshadows like the Netflix deal for WWE. And now for them to be on Netflix, it's interesting. But, I mean, I think it's a good show. I think it's definitely worth the watch if you are a casual fan of wrestling or if you just like, you know, one of the actors that are in there. So now to go back to Kent's game last week or last episode, who do you think's the better Who's the better character?
I love Wild Bill in there.
Okay. You would.
He's that old school old timer, and like the more you watch it and further you get on the seasons, you like him more.
You just like the plain scenes.
Look at that. Oh yeah. Here's your toy. Here's your women's title. But no, I stick with mine. I mean, Rooster to me is kind of that wrestler that I've always liked. That can do hardcore. He's kind of like the Jeff Hardy without the drugs.
I mean, for the most part, like the cast in there is pretty good. I like Ollie too. He's the Florida dystopian promoter. I mean, I like most of the characters. Like I told Ken in the green room, pretty much. No, like I told Ken in the green room, like watching it, Steven Armel should not be the main guy. And it felt almost like a Cody Rhodes scenario.
But now, can you admit that in season 1, he is that main guy, but then in season 2, he's releasing those reins. And that's why I kind of really want to see what's going to happen in season 3, because, he did let, I can't think of her name now, the female wrestler, Crystal, her to take the spotlight, Ace to take the spotlight, and then Ace's new character at the end of the season to take the spotlight. Yes, he was involved, but
condemn.
The condemn.
Not condemn, condemn.
But he's definitely kind of pulling it back.
Right.
See, I liked him in the Green Arrow because that was cool for its time when it came out. But he's the same dude. Should have grew his hair. You know what I mean? You look at him, and you're like, I'm just waiting for you to pull out an arrow.
Well, once Green Arrow ended, he went right into this.
Yeah. Well, he should have grew his hair out or did something.
He said it many times. Like he didn't want to do another series, like multi-season series.
Yeah.
But then he read this script and he was like, "Oh fuck! Like I want to do this."
Yeah.
And I think what's going to happen now, especially with Raw going on Netflix, you're going to see more WWE guys on that show. There's going to be a cross promotion.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that.
Oh yeah.
I could definitely see them doing more of like even the retirees, the legends, kind of going on there. You know, because they do the whole like wrestling cons and like they do the podcast where I could see them being like, "Oh, Wild Bill's at a wrestling show, and oh look, there's Ric Flair. Hey, there's so and so." Like,
and especially Netflix will have the budget where they could pay those.
Yeah, I thought it was. I think it's okay written. It does pop back and forth a little bit in season 2, but I'll watch season 3 when it comes out. That's who I am.
So the other thing I watched on Netflix was the show Wrestlers.
I've never even heard of it.
So they came out in 2003. It's about Ohio Valley wrestling.
Oh, okay.
And I forget what the guy's name was, but he's like big in Kentucky, and him and his partner end up buying OVW, and they're trying to get it to be like the number 3 show. And they're like the only major independent show that actually like broadcasts live every Thursday, and they still try to do pay-per-views and all that other stuff. Al Snow is their lead agent producer. So, I mean, there it's like, it's a good watch after watching Heels.
Okay.
Because it gives you a better understanding for the independent scene and those kind of wrestlers. And it's like, it's kind of funny when you watch Heels, it's almost the same as Wrestlers.
Yeah.
With, like all the backstage politics, the people trying to jump, like the big dream is always, I want to be in WWE.
Yeah.
Or now AEW. Like one of them actually at the end of the show went to AEW.
Okay.
But then they have other ones like they'll like go to AEW. Like he talked to Tony Khan and like they'll do AEW dark matches. They kind of showcase them, or then they'll try to go to WWE and do a dark match if they're in town or whatever, and as a tryout.
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting right now, like how many of these shows are popping up on streaming services or on what you used to call straight to DVD kind of platforms. Yeah. But is it helping or is it hurting the industry?
That's what I think it's helping.
Okay.
It's helping the current product.
Right. And I think because it's showing the minor leagues, right? That there's POWW locally here, they do a lot of work,
right,
man, and they're going, at least twice a month, and you start watching some of these guys, you're like, oh, All right, yeah, that's what they're grinding through, on
Yeah.
heels of wrestlers, and then when you start watching just the difference in skill level.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's like going and watching the Sox this year, and then maybe going and watching the Brewers, or real big.
Or then go watch Savannah Bananas.
Savannah Bananas. But when you see the local guys, in these undercard companies doing moves, and some of them are badass, and some of them are like, "Ooh, good try." And then when you see it, the guys who are who've made it to AEW, TNA, to WWE, and you see it a little bit smoother, you're like, "Oh."
And I think
That's what it's supposed
the
to look like.
wrestlers,
Yeah.
Al Snow even made a comment of how there's too many death matches.
Yeah.
And it's not wrestling. There's no art. They're losing the specialty. It should be a once in a while, once every couple of years kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's even like with heels. I mean, that's
Right.
what like Ace, is trying to do. It's like, okay, I'm trying to tell the stories, and then you have Dystopia that's like, no, we just want to like balls to the wall, like
bloody.
bloody everything. And that's honestly like, I love hardcore. I loved hardcore wrestling. I loved ECW. I did backyard wrestling. I loved it all. But at the same time, I don't need that to be every single match.
Right.
I don't need that to be
And
every
that's what
single
happened
card.
with AEW.
Yeah.
There's okay, it's the same. Mox is bleeding again.
Yeah.
How much blood are you losing now?
Yeah.
And that's where it's like the way how heels ended. I wish they would have just done a draw.
Fade to black.
Just both men are count out.
Yeah.
It was the last man standing match.
Mhm.
And I think you should have just ended it in a draw.
Yeah.
And then let that be like, oh, now what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Too. I mean, both ways kind of did, but I think that would have been a better storyline where both guys stay down, because now all of a sudden he executes the move, but then his opponent, his brother, gets up.
Yeah.
It's like, that was just stupid.
Yeah, you could have done it where, I mean, again, they can't rewrite the episode, but like you could have had the condemned or whatever. Condemned. You could have had him roll out of the ring and not get up,
Right.
and like, disappeared and whatever.
Right.
You could have done so many different things and kept it that way. But did they know they were going to be canceled? Did they know they weren't going to get this chance to explain or continue going on? So, and that's the thing that like Megan and I always have conversations about, is like, okay, this movie's got horrible reviews. This show has horrible reviews, and we'll watch it. Perfect example, Vin Diesel's The Last Witch Hunter. Critically acclaimed, horrible movie. Rotten Tomatoes score, horrible. Me and her will watch it. It's a very entertaining movie. So with these shows, I put it to the coin of, are you entertained, or are you just watching it to watch it? Are you watching it for the podcast to talk about it, or are you just watching it because you're entertained?
I watched it because of the podcast.
Okay.
I had really no intentions ever to watch it.
But did you watch the whole season, both seasons, because of the podcast, or did it at least pique your interest?
It piqued my interest.
Yeah.
Okay.
As the show went on.
Okay.
If you're a wrestling fan, it draws you in.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like, but for me, like even Hayden, he's like a casual fan, if not, but he'll watch the show.
Yeah.
Megan's upset that he watches the show because there's a couple, crystals.
Boobies.
Yeah, there's some.
Well, they
there.
get away from that in season 2.
There's some trigger things in there.
Yeah,
folks.
for this woke nation that we live in, or we'll see what happens.
You got that.
All right.
Stay tuned.
Before you jump,
Before I jump.
just I don't know if you've got any news in here, but Cody Rhodes is being sued. You hear that?
Oh, for the American Nightmare thing?
Yeah.
I think we talk about that like a month ago.
We talked about there was litigations being
there were
pressed, but
litigations,
they are now
but yeah.
official.
But now they are official.
Yeah, for the American Nightmare name.
Yeah.
He's also being on many podcasts having to explain that he's a move stealer as well.
Oh, I've said that for
Oh yeah.
our podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
But yeah, it is now.
So
It's the real deal.
Speaking of Cody Rhodes, who do you think is the next historian wrestler? And what I mean by that, let me explain what I'm saying. So like Cody Rhodes pulls from history a lot.
right.
He always references Ric Flair. He always references, Bret Hart. Third time it's said today. But like, who is the next person that you think?
It could be Dom.
You think Don?
I mean, he's the only one he's been in the business since.
I don't even mean to be being in the business.
But,
I just mean that's like,
he knows the generation
Yeah, okay.
before. So, but that would be more Lucha Libre style.
yeah.
So I mean the Hispanic culture is huge in wrestling. So I mean that's going to get that market for sure.
Because I almost want to say Seth freaking Rollins, but then it's like
He's getting old now.
he's gonna go. I'm thinking like you're saying, like the Dom, like
Maybe Braun.
honestly, I kind of want to say Logan Paul, and I know that's going to be a very left answer there, but like he's actually, the more that I've watched him and the more that I've listened to him talk about the sport and the entertainment side of it, like he cares. Like he's not like, and we've said this before in other podcasts.
Like celebrities that just want the publicity.
Correct.
What about Solo? He could be that guy.
I think Solo's going to be.
I think
he's going to get repackaged.
Think so?
I think he's going to be almost like the D'Lo Brown.
Really?
Yeah.
I think you better recognize.
That's a deep cut right there.
That is a deep.
And that's a hometown boy as well.
We got a few minutes left. So right now, WWE's finally, they did some roster cuts. Not that many. It was Baron Corbin.
Who?
Yeah. The one that ended Kurt Angle career.
Oh.
Tegan Knox and then what's her name? Indy Hartwell.
Yep.
So not really big three names. I mean, I could see probably the girls going to AEW. Baron will probably be better off in TNA.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's just so bland. Not like we talked about before, like the other ones I don't see resigning would be New Day and the Street Profits. I think they'll all go to AEW. AJ Styles too. Possibly KO.
I could see KO, but I see him going because of the Elite.
Right.
I mean, he's so friendly with them. So
When I get back. So the other big news, Sports Illustrated came out with their 20 greatest pro wrestlers of all time by
back in
October
October.
October 13th. Didn't get to the last show. Trying to get in this show. This list is crap.
Well, let's take a look at it.
Let's talk about it.
All right, number 20. I'm just going to list all the names.
Yeah.
Number 20 is Becky Lynch.
I love how it's not like gender bias at all.
No.
19's Mick Foley. 18's Chris Jericho. 17's a man that shall be nameless. 16 is Andre Giant. 15 is Randy Orton. 14 is Edge. 13 is Roddy Piper. 12 is Kurt Angle. Where are we at?
11.
11 is Randy
Savage.
Savage.
Now let's see what the top 10 is.
10 is Bruno Sammartino.
Okay.
Number 9 is Bret Hart. Number 8 Shawn Michaels.
That's 4 times.
Number 7 is Triple H. Number 6 is The Undertaker. Number 5 is Roman Reigns. Number 4 is John Cena. 3 is The Rock. 2 is Hulk Hogan. And number 1 is Stone Cold Steve Austin.
See, I really need to invest in this screen because I feel like I got to do like the John Madden now, where like you
Right.
got to draw the circle. You're like, no, I'll put this here. But I mean,
Well, if anyone wants to sponsor our show where we can get that kind of TV in here.
That's right. We would
That's
absolutely love it.
I mean, the list definitely.
Did it? Let me before we jump too far down this hole. Did the article say what it's based on?
Not really. It was just this
Interesting.
guy on Sports Illustrated on the takedown.
Okay.
And trying to look him up, like I can't get much biography on him.
Yeah.
He's younger than me. He
Boy,
may be your age.
That's so old.
He may be around your age, but it's like this is all pure like WWE the last 20 years.
Right.
Like for most
Right.
part, it's like, oh, I have to put Bruno in there, and I have to put Hogan in there and whatnot. But I'm like a bunch of those guys, like you're missing like Luke Thez, Pedro Morales, Superstar Billy Graham, Gorgeous George, Ricky Steamboat, like, and you're not even like Ric Flair's not even on the list.
I was going to say, where's the greatest? Where's Rick?
I'm like,
Woo!
so I mean, if he wants to argue WWE,
Is Goldberg up there?
no, Goldberg's not.
What?
even on
Hey,
there.
what?
That's where I'm like, if you want to argue
My two
WWE,
guys.
maybe.
Oh yeah, he's real young.
Because I'm like, if this is just a WWE list, okay, I can see why Ric Flair's
Yeah.
not
Why
on
isn't
there.
All-Star Billy Graham should be up there?
But yeah, so before our show, I came up with my list.
I like Bruno. Yeah, that's a good shout out.
So here's my list.
Okay.
I have Rey Mysterio at number 20. Just he has been around for so long. He is pound for pound one of the best wrestlers they've had. He's an undercard, undersized. I put Chris Jericho at 19. 18, I have Brian Danielson. He wasn't even on the list.
Right.
Roddy Piper, 17. Eddie Guerrero wasn't even on the
Eddie
list.
Guerrero needs to be on
I
there.
put him
He
on
does.
16. 15, I put down
So
Sting.
good. Yeah.
He didn't have Sting in there at all. Kurt Angle, 14. Shawn Michaels, I have at 13. Roman Reigns at 12. Randy Savage 11, Undertaker at 10, Brock Lesnar I had
Yeah,
at
Brock
9.
wasn't even
He
on
didn't even
there.
have him on the list.
Yeah. Well,
Ric Flair wasn't on the list.
I could debate Brock Lesnar.
He was such a draw
He was, but not
But
much.
this is where again,
and a pure wrestler.
Well, not necessarily on
Well-
this end of the show.
And you have Ric Flair at 8. He wasn't on the list. I
Yeah.
moved Andre higher, Bruno higher, Brett higher. I put The Rock at 4, Cena at 3, Stone Cold at 2, Hulk Hogan 1. Without Hogan, there's no WrestleMania. There's none of this.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And the
on
80s
that.
era, like how huge he was, like how he would have been now.
I mean, he was on like 60 Minutes.
Everything.
I mean, yeah, he was.
yeah. But the thing is like
I agree with
here's my thing. So there's a bunch of people that are on your list, and there's people that are on his list that, without a good faction, they wouldn't have been anybody. Perfect example on number 12, Roman Reigns. Without the Shield, would have been nothing. I don't think you would have had, because again, after the Shield, before you had the tribal chief, Roman flopped.
Right.
They
Yeah.
rebranded him a couple times.
Well, once he got with Paul Heyman, he was
Correct.
fine.
Right.
So you have that one. You have again The Rock when he first came out. He got flat. Then he became with the Nation of Domination.
Yeah.
He became good. The only one on there that personally to me it kind of always stood on his own are the 2 and 3. Hulk Hogan, yes, in the 80s, 90s, he carried his own. But then again, when he joined NWO, again, it's like the outsiders. They're not even on this list. I mean, you don't even have.
Well, I don't have any tag teams. I don't have any of that.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you don't have Kevin Nash on
No.
here. You
Scott
don't have
Hall's
Scott Hall's on here. I mean, I'm shocked you made this list how you did because just.
And Scott Hall as well.
Well,
yeah,
see,
that's
I
a-
did it. My
Yeah.
list was more based on draw
Okay.
and wrestling ability.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I did that kind of combo.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where Bret Hart was the head of the new generation.
Mhm.
And they take the title off him, ratings plummeted, worst ratings ever. They put the belt back on him, ratings go back up. Huge, especially overseas.
I mean, Eddie Guerrero, especially, right? How good Eddie was. Why
He was the best. I mean, he
A
was the best
tactician,
heel.
I mean,
he was
yep.
the best cheater out there.
Yeah,
And the only
he
reason
really
why
was.
he's not even higher is because of his untimely death.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could even say that with, Chris Benoit.
Right.
I mean, if
That's another list.
if the history did not happen the way it did, where would he be?
Right.
Because you could have a list of, okay, who are your actual 20 greatest performers? Who are your 20 greatest
Oh, yeah, for sure.
blockbusters?
I noticed you didn't have any women on there.
Ooh.
I just,
I
I guess we know who you voted for. Never mind. Too soon? Sorry.
we didn't talk politics on this show ever. I thought. I mean, but again,
I voted independent. I always do.
I wrote myself in.
That's it.
But no, I mean, you have the Undertaker as 10. I'm shocked you have him below Brock Lesnar. I get why. You're basing it on draw. You're basing it on that.
My issue with
gotta
Undertaker
come
was
on,
his
longevity.
matches, unless it was WrestleMania, were boring.
Well, he's dead. Well, I mean,
What do you want a dead man
Right.
to do?
I have his
You look at his profession. I mean, he's an Undertaker.
Right.
It's not really exciting.
but still, I mean, when Brock came out and he would destroy you, and
Yeah.
throw you around, and Brock was a legitimate beast,
Yeah.
and you always felt like he's going to win no matter what. Like if you want to, he'll win.
don't have Ricky Steamboat on there, do you?
No Rikishi. No Too
No.
Cool.
Yeah.
I almost had Ricky on there,
Big
but
Show.
I mean, it's the drawing power.
Well, now which big
So
show?
now
do you
if-
have the Giant? or do you
Superfly.
have-
Man, you don't even have the Super.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Superfly Drew.
They would
You
be
went up
on.
there.
They would be on the performance one.
Yeah. All right.
I'm saying if you're going to base your company to sell stuff,
Okay.
this list is better than the other guys.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
other
yeah,
guys. I mean, if
I
you're
don't even have Triple H on my list.
so like, if I had to take,
I wouldn't
so if
do
I had a pool of 80s to 2000s in prime, and I had to build my own promotion, top tier promotion, a lot of these guys are who you would grab, of course.
Yeah.
But again, for me, Razor Ramon, you gotta what he did.
Right.
He was at that time. He was the villain. He was everyone wanted to hate him.
Right.
Hey yo.
But again, that's where go back to your question, Ken.
Yeah.
Is how many of those guys just imitated movies? Like he was
Right.
Scarface. Like that's who he was.
Right? Yeah.
You know, and it was again the Sheik,
Right.
Sergeant Slaughter. Like they again as the documentary talked on. Like they went on what was going on in the world,
Right.
and then they stopped. And it's just, but yeah, I think a lot of these. It's a good list.
You got Randy Popov, or that's good.
I mean, yeah, like, I didn't have Randy Orton on mine. I didn't have Edge on mine. The man that
Edge.
this will never be on mine.
No, Ed shouldn't be.
Like Edge is way too high on that guy. So see, I'm
Oh,
at 14. I'm
yeah,
like,
no. Might as well put Christian on there.
and that's where it's like when you look, okay, what are they also doing in AEW? Like, okay, yeah, Jericho and Bryan Danielson, they were drawing numbers in AEW. The other
Yeah.
guys aren't.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna put Brock, that I mean, I get it for the draw, but
But you also
I mean,
Goldberg would never be on my list.
the Steiner brothers were wrestlers too.
Well,
Yeah.
But again,
I
going
would
back
have
off the
that.
guys' list, only one name that's on that list, two names actually, are in other promotions now. Again, there's maybe 5 of them that would have wrestled elsewhere, counting Hulk Hogan, counting Randy Savage.
Yeah.
You know, Rowdy Piper, small stint at WCW if I remember.
Yeah.
Small.
They had 2 stints in there.
Yeah, and then you have, of course, Chris Jericho. So, like, there's 5.
Yeah.
Everyone else is WWE. And that's
Right.
just, again, where I think it's funny when you hear people talk about wrestling. There's not many people that talk. And Tom, I think you're probably one of the only few that I still know. Maybe another show that's on this platform that we won't get.
No, it's no longer here.
It's rejected.
They're rejected.
Okay. Well, like, there's not many people talk about
They also
all
shall be nameless.
the other
That's
shows. It's always just one promotion.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
your WWF, WWE, your AEW, your
Mhm.
WCW, or independent. Like, no one talks, I think, the whole spectrum
Right.
like our show does.
Right.
And I mean, even looking at these people's lists.
And then even here, like when I think about more, it's like Inaki. He
Mhm.
should be out. He'll be top 10.
Yeah.
Or he did in New Japan and all that other stuff. Like,
But my thing is this: like, if I think of the greatest pro wrestlers of all time, like if I had to make my list, I look at it as not only draw, but what did they do for the industry? Like, what did they do to push it forward?
See, you don't have Mankind up there.
I didn't put McFoley on there.
You know,
Mix another.
I
one.
dropped Shawn Michaels because I think he is almost one of the most overrated.
Oh, very, very.
Yeah.
He could not draw at all as a champion.
Yeah. No, he couldn't.
I mean, great matches, but could not draw as a champion.
and I also hate that number. Why 20? Like, I
Yeah.
just go to 25.
Or stay at 16.
Or top 10.
Yeah, I just mean, like, why 20? Like, it's just such a weird. Because again,
Yeah, that's so I can get behind you on a lot of these for promotability and that, right? I absolutely can. That's why I asked.
Okay, so who would you put ahead? Like, where would you put Goldberg? I know you're a Goldberg guy. Where would he go higher?
I would
now we're talking about Goldberg Prime. Not
Yeah.
WWE.
yeah, you know, I would probably
Now, if you want to do Flash in the Pan, that would be another list. with
yeah,
all
no,
from
I
there.
would probably see Roddy Piper. I mean,
Piper's Pit, though. I mean, like,
Yeah,
It
Piper's
was the
Pit.
80s, and like, he
But-
also did the movie called.
I mean, he was the bad guy to Hulk Hogan's good guy, right? I mean, you know, that's why I say that. That's the one on there. If I were to put Goldberg, I'd probably pull out Rowdy, or Rey Mysterio. Not a big Rey Mysterio fan. Never have been.
see, I'm not a fan of Kurt Angle.
I love Kurt Angle.
I mean, like, I just.
Yeah,
And when he made that splash to TNA, that was huge. In what, 2006 or whatever.
Okay, so again, that was okay. But again, I guess it was Sting as well. I mean, the main event Mafia. I mean, that was a real good action.
but Kurt was a good heel.
But again, that's where, again, my statement before is like, without that good faction, he's nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he was that good in WWF.
Oh, he was awesome. He was the fastest learner.
Oh,
Like,
but he was
He won like every title in his first year.
He did.
yeah, because he had the push. That's all he had.
Well, no, but he had he
number
could
5.
talk and like
Number 5 might have to go to.
you know,
Such a crybaby.
that's not Cody.
Still.
Hey, let me move my phone in this before you flip the table.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I
And
mean,
we're looking for a new producer for our show.
Yeah, that's right.
You're like,
you know,
Hold on,
I
we
mean,
didn't try
Goldberg.
that. We didn't get the internet to work at that time. So let
You
him
know, and
not.
I don't even know if I'd put Goldberg. I love Goldberg, but I don't know if I'd put him up there as far as promotability. I mean,
I wouldn't put Andre that high.
I mean, when
Really?
I wouldn't.
when-
Andre was huge.
I would put Andre in the 15 to 20.
when Goldberg came out, you know, he was good until, you know, as they kept him silent, right?
Mm.
Then when he started
talking,
you're like,
Yeah. Well, let me back up my.
I mean, he is a good gym teacher on the Goldberg show.
Andre the Giant, I would move between 20 and 15.
Yeah,
The reason that Andre was so like he had the draw, it wasn't his wrestling.
Right.
It was you wanted to see, and I'm
that big physique.
I say this in not an derogatory way because of this world country we live in. He was a freak.
Right.
He was a freak of nature.
Well, that's how wrestling promotions
Correct.
were.
And that's
The
what
Carney
back in the day, the
shows.
Carney show. But he was also one of those, like, when you knew you were going to see him wrestle, there was nobody to beat him.
right.
Like, that's why when it happened, it was like, oh, shit, like, what did I just see?
Yeah.
But what he did for the industry, again, without him and without Hogan, you don't have WrestleMania. You don't have
Right.
that Clash. You don't have that. But that's why I don't, as a wrestler, like, the draw is just because of his size. It was not because of his wrestling standpoint. Like, Ric Flair,
Longevity.
Too longevity.
Woo!
Yeah. I mean, now he's in.
And the other thing too, it's like what Kent just did, the woo. It's like the wrestlers that also made the impact that aren't ever going away.
What?
Daniel Bryan is never going to.
Suck it.
Well,
Yeah.
he's
2
up there,
tears in a
number 13.
bucket.
But it's like, okay, Daniel Bryan has the yes. Those chants are never going to go.
Wait, hold on. You're giving "suck it" to Shawn Michaels? That's a Triple H, and you know it. We will fight over this list now,
2
sir.
tears
Let's see
in a
who
bucket.
said it first.
I'm sure Shawn said it first. He's older.
And
Sure he was telling his
he's
first-
done it
his
many
first
times
wife.
to Vince, but that's
Many
what it was.
times. But where's Vince on this list?
No, it's pro wrestler.
Oh, okay. But you said drawability.
Well, we could get it.
He wrestled quite a
I
bit.
mean, do we want to make a new list, like a bunch of lists for next show?
Maybe.
Mud wrestling? Is that what you just said?
Yeah. Maybe.
Well, we brought up Vince McMahon. You
let
brought
me
up mud
let me
wrestling.
let me look into. I'll
Ooh,
make it. I'll
Kent's list.
create it. You got me thinking. Now.
You're about to make Kent's
Because
list right now.
like when we talk about the Mount Rushmores, there's so many different ways you can
Yeah.
go about it. Is there your 4 biggest draws, or is it the 4 best
Yeah.
wrestlers? Is it overall? Like,
Well, that's what I always hate about the whole generational conversation. Not even talking about pro wrestling. I mean, in any sport. I mean, when you hear basketball, we're all basketball fans here. It's, you know, to me, what have you done for the industry? What have you done for the
Right.
sport? And there's a lot of these wrestlers that are on there that if you would include them in factions, the list is completely different to me. But again, what those factions did, you know, you don't even. Do you have one? Yeah, Roman Reigns. Again, the Shield. Without the Shield, without Roman Reigns, without Seth freaking Rollins and Dean Ambrose, you don't have a Roman Reigns. Without DX, you don't have a Shawn Michaels. You don't have a Triple H.
oh, you had Shawn Michaels before.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you did.
No, you didn't.
When he was Heartbreak Kid, Intercontinental title,
HBK.
HBK, WrestleMania 12.
Yeah, with the Diesel and
But
have the you know,
and then he had Sid.
yeah. Then he had Sid and
Yeah.
Well,
Again,
faction.
you always, but you needed someone always to carry him. You always needed someone to protect him because he was that person you wanted to punch in the face. Because either he was going to steal your girl, steal your wife, because
Right.
that was the whole gimmick, or whatever. But then it was like he was cool when he was in DX. You know, Daniel Bryan.
So is China.
Yeah.
God rest her soul.
Hey, where's she on this list?
We'll make another list. I just
She drew.
You know what? Your list is horrible.
My list is better than your
She
guy.
drew on Playboy. You know.
Well, he drew Clay.
Hey,
So.
hey, all right, listen.
we
We've
went
only,
overtime.
we've only got we're in about 15 minutes of overtime.
Really?
So-
Oh wow. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. I like this.
Oh, hopefully
conversation.
we don't get charged from the FCC.
That's right. All right.
Equal
Listen,
amount.
come back
We went
in-
to black.
Come
15
back in
minutes
it.
ago.
Wait, in a couple weeks. Is that after Thanksgiving? Is that this? Sunday?
No, I think it's the Sunday before.
So it's a 28th is Thanksgiving, right? So
Yeah, so
We got
it's the
2 weeks
Sunday
from
before.
today.
So the next show we'll
so
talk about
25th or something.
the
Well,
War Games predictions. We'll
yeah, War Games will be
finalized.
predicting. Yeah.
14th, 24th, 24th.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, fair enough, man. Have a good night.
Well, thanks for watching, and if you want to sponsor, please reach out.